Alright, this is going to be the most epic conclusion to a GSTL that we've seen in quite some time, I feel. Because I tweeted this earlier, but one of two things will happen. We either see Innovation versus Youngju, and we get to see an awesome TBZ, and then we get to see Innovation versus Deer, or there's going to be a miracle that happens, and that's going to be awesome to watch too. So basically, this can't go wrong. There's no way that this possible 2 games or this 1 game is going to disappoint. It's impossible.
Yeah, either we're going to see Innovation being taken out by someone who is nowhere near his level, or we are going to see a pretty epic match, ace match, potentially between Innovation and Deer. There was a recent patch that, of course, changed especially Widow Mines a little bit, and that is going to influence things, definitely. But the skill gap that we have between Innovation and Youngju could not be bigger. Still, it is a best of 1. If this was a best of 3, I would not bet like anything at all, not even a cent on Youngju. In a best of 1, crazier things have happened.
Yeah, certainly so.
You make a bit mistake, there's like something that goes wrong in your opening, your opponent has a build order victory somehow. So a best of 1, anything can happen, but Youngju will have to play like nearly perfect to take out Innovation here.
I'm going to say I saw Youngju during the break, and he looks like he's focused super seriously here. He's in the zone, and he's not psyched out by his opponent. I saw him and both Innovation actually just continuously breathing on their hands because it's getting colder outside. It's not really cold in the studio per se, but you don't want to have cold hands going into a game like this, and they're both just making sure they're warmed up and ready to go. This is going to be epic. If Youngju is somehow able to pull off a miracle here, you guys are going to be here to see it.
Yeah, that would be really crazy if he's able to perform that. And Whirlwind is going to be the map, and that's traditionally a map where Innovation feels very at home.
Yeah. It's where his style really shines. He's great in the late game in TVZ. In the past, Zerg players really like this map because they could get to the late game, but with Heart of the Storm and how things have changed, it's a map that really plays into Innovation's strengths.
And of course, these are former teammates, so they practiced with each other. Innovation has said in the past that he practiced a lot with Youngju, and so they will know each other's style. The problem with Innovation is that he plays nearly perfect games most of the time. And even with the changes to Widow Mines and in the recent patch, and things like that, Innovation is just on a completely different level than Youngju.
Yeah.
But a best of 1 has its downsides as well. It's of course always very exciting to see that you can prepare snipe builds, but you can also just make a mistake and lose a game, and that could happen here. Youngju has something planned. I don't think that he's really confident in going into a very late game oriented match against someone like Innovation. Yep. Going into a game where you might even have like hive take and everything, and trying to beat him in a macro game, that would show a lot of confidence, but that's like blasphemy. That's
basically like a fool's errand to try to play a late game against Innovation on World 1, on his map, on his territory, in his matchup. He's going to have a secret plan. He's going to have to do Plan X, find out what that is right now. If he pulls it off, this will be our final match, and Seoul will take it. If not, we go to the ace match here at the GSTL. Axiom Acer versus Seoul with Counter and Wolf.
And starting to the bottom right, we have the best Terran versus Zerg player in the entire world. And out of the swarm, it is
Acer Innovation.
If anybody contradicts a statement that you just said, I want a 10-page paper on my desk by the end of the weekend.
I don't think that's something that anyone is going to actually challenge. He is definitely the best Terran versus Zerg player in the world. And starting to the top right is a former teammate, the Zerg player that plays the last match in the regular format here for Seoul. It is
Seoul Youngju.
But let's talk a little bit about this, about the statistics here and why exactly Innovation is such a great player and why everyone kind of expects Youngju to go down in flames here, even though it is a best of 1 and that could be an upset. Innovation has played roughly a little bit more than 70 maps in this matchup, and he has a 78% win ratio, and that is against the best players in the world. If you look at the match history and not at the map history, then he has even an 84% win ratio with 40 matches played. And this is one of the things where you look at statistics and a lot of people will argue, yeah, but like it's all about the recent past and how a player performs. But the crazy thing about Innovation is that he didn't only have like a very strong period and then fell off a little bit. He is playing on this level constantly. Like if you go down the recent map history, he took down Ragnarok, he took down Lucky, Haiva, he was successful against Tyrus several times actually, against Lennox, Solkey. He lost a couple of games, but those are only a few. He lost to Su, that was in the Premier League in Korea in Season 3, and he lost the best of 3 against DRG with a 1-2. But in general, just his match history is insane. It's absolute insanity. And then you look at Youngju, and Youngju so far, definitely a player that shows a lot of potential and that can have his breakout, but he has only 7 maps played in Heart of the Swarm offline against Terran, and he won only 2 of them. That leaves him with a 28% win ratio, and with losses against Bomber, against MMA, and against Heart. So, definitely a player that can take down a map every now and then from a really high-skilled player, but the skill gap between the two of them is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as big as it gets. I mean, he's not playing against Tastar, but it's the feeling is very similar here.
What could of course influence things a little bit is that we had a recent change to the way that Widow Mines dish out their damage, so they got a slight nerf here, so that might influence the matchup here, and it is still a best of 1. So you can surprise an opponent and take him down here, but of course the odds are very heavily stacked in Innovation's favor here against Youngju.
Yep.
But who knows, the Zerg player might surprise us.
Scouting SCV will go down, one more swipe there. It's actually making 6 Zerglings, which is not extremely... It's not extremely odd to see, but he's not going to be able to get past the bunker. Because this... Well, you know, actually, there's only 1 Marine in there. The second one, though, will join just in time, and there's not going to be any way he gets in there. And even if he does, the remaining Zerglings will be cleaned up by the Marines. So, very fast Zergling speed, though, will give him control of the map. And he's making 4 additional ones. Looks like he might commit to some Zergling pressure here.
Yeah, he's actually going for a lot of Zerglings here. He's even getting more, and that is exactly what we were talking about earlier. Ooh, 2 drones.
Oh, misrally here.
Yeah, misrally on the drones.
But he gets past with this many Zerglings.
Yeah, the Lings are going to become a bit of a problem here, and that's exactly what we said earlier. Youngju needs to find some kind of opening that he can use against Innovation to be successful with. Innovation just trying to buy himself some time until he gets the Hellion out to save his high ground here.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Lings split here. Okay, there he goes.
Yeah, but the problem is that Youngju is also committing quite a lot of lava and also links to this. He needs to do damage with it. If he doesn't do damage, then he will find himself in a lot of trouble.
He's not breaking the wall, and breaking the bunker is definitely something he can hope for. The SCVs actually already give up that. Yeah. So basically he just takes control of the natural here, and that's pretty significant.
That's the aggression that we've been talking about. He commits a lot to this, and he loses a few Zerglings in the process. 4 Harvesters killed and forcing also the command center off. So Innovation has to be careful here. That's exactly the aggression and the build order that we were mentioning earlier. If Youngju finds some kind of weakness in Innovation's start, then he can maybe take this game.
Yeah, he's definitely going to really affect Innovation's income with this, forcing the command center to be lifted, making him commit more into his tech. He's going to go into Banshees here. Would not even be surprised to see a Cloak with the opening that we've seen from Youngju so far. So you might actually go for Cloak, commit to that. It's a little bit cheaper, and there it is. Cloak is researched now.
And we have the Roach run for Youngju, and that indicates further aggression. 2 Hellions alone are not in a position where they can really contest this many Zerglings with speed. Now we have 4 of them, and that makes it a very different story. The Lings here at the ramp have to move back, but the Roach follow-up could be very dangerous. So Youngju with a solid opening here in this game.
And here comes that Overlord Scout. He needs to see the Banshee follow-up.
In the past, Youngju was really struggling against Terran, with losses against Bomber, MMA, and other high-profile Terran players. He's definitely in a position where he was not too successful, but this is a pretty cool opening for him so far, and he is at least giving Innovation a few troubles in the early game here.
Yeah, definitely so. He sees the Cloak as well. His lair is started immediately. Also getting an Evolution Chamber, of course, to start to get those upgrades out. And even an additional Queen being made, he's going to be okay against the Banshee as far as defending against drones. That's not the issue. The issue is the third base pressure and, of course, the creep tumors.
The Banshee is also going to help a bit with the potential Roach aggression. Yes. So that is definitely something that Innovation has right now that cannot only be used as a mean of being offensive or being on the offense and doing some damage, but he can also work against the Roaches if Youngju decides to just go for it.
I don't think he will, though. He's making how many Roaches until, I think, 9? And no, 7. So 7 Roaches until. That's a pretty defensive number against the commitment to Hellions that we've seen here. The Banshee, on the other hand, does need to be dealt with. He's going to go over and get some scout information, and it is cloaked. Overseer needs to be made, or he's actually going to lose a Queen here. It looks like he will lose 1 at least, no matter what. Sport card too late.
Goes straight for those drones, and Innovation with a little bit of a delayed command center. The 3rd CC a bit late this time, but that is, of course, in favor of the tech that we currently see. The Roach is still trying to control the choke point here, and the Zerglings have to be very careful. Roach is alone doing a lot of damage, but they are getting toasted, and the Marines are doing a lot And now comes the Banshee with 6 kills or 8 kills already on the Harvesters.
Yeah, 8 kills here, and the Banshee swings around. And it's just actually kind of allowing Innovation to pick away at that third base economy, or at least try to force more units out of it. This Overlord will finally go down here. Nice micro by Innovation. He sees at the last second, though, the transition, of course, back into Medivacs, the power-up of the barracks, and the third base timing, so he knows all of these things. Actually, I'm not so sure if he saw the exact timing of the command center, but he can expect that it's a little bit delayed. And there's the Spire, and he can get the Spire up for free, basically, now. He's not pressured anymore directly, and that's really, really good as a Zerg player. You can get that Spire up uncontested.
He also quite increased his Harvester count over the last few seconds. He lost a couple of drones, and now he's up to 60 again. Innovation is at 46, and trying to get a few kills in the main base. And he gets his shots off. Kills 1, kills 2, gets maybe even a third. Has to be very careful, of course, because of the Spore Crawler that we see there. But Innovation trying just to go back. And really nice moves here. Always finding a bit of a sweet spot where he can position his Banshees and do damage against the Harvesters of his opponent. 14 killed and still 63 for Yongju. He's really heavily droning up here.
Yeah. 2 Banshees will one-shot a drone if they both fire at the same time, and so he's using this to his advantage, constantly trying to just tank. Even if he tanks 1 Spore hit or 1 hit from a Queen to kill a drone, it's worth it, because he can always fly the Banshees away later, repair them. And they're not going to be useful that too much later on, so he's actually killing even more here. And the Banshees have gotten 14 kills on 1. I think the other one is about similar. No, only 6, but 20 kills still for 2 Banshees, and the kill count continues.
Yeah, he's in a really, really good spot with those Banshees, doing a lot of damage to the economy. Still 60 Harvesters, though. And now we have a bit of a Bioforce moving out, and he can, of course, scan and take down the creep tumors, or even just go for the army. And with the stim that he has completed right now, there's a lot of DPS potential. The Banelings are not ready just yet,
late,
but they could be in a few seconds. And here come those Jones Marines, and here come all of those Banelings that he's lifting.
The Queens need a target here, and they do a decent amount of damage to those Medivacs, but it's not enough, and now they're going straight for the main base.
Yongju, on the other hand, going for a drop now for the Overlords.
And that could be, well, it could be for a lot of things, but a blind spot in the main. He knows the Medivac's possibly going to drop here, so he's already set things up. He's cut the Overseers over here as well. A few Banelings and the Zerglings are ready. The Hellions, though, could give him a problem. If he targets those Banelings down, then he can actually do a lot to the Roaches.
Innovation going into the third base right now. He's taking a supply lead in this game at this point. Has a heavy lead also in the army supply and taking down one of the Spore Crawlers. That will also give the Banshees a potential to just move in a little bit later again. Lifting it up. No Mutalisks just yet, so no danger of losing the Medivacs.
Oh, definitely not. 8 Mutalisks, though, about to pop, so he will actually have to be concerned about that if he sticks around too long. Picks up immediately, might drop a Marauder on the Banelings, decides not to because the Roach support is there. Few Widowmines leading the charge, and oh no, the Mutalisks do not want to be fighting this.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to do that, and now the Queen goes down. We have the Macro Edge there as well. The Zerg is running in with everything that he has. The Baneling is being targeted, and a lot of the Zerg units are already gone. Suddenly with the army supply of 40 against 64, Innovation with the support of the Medivacs doing a lot of damage and even rallying a few reinforcements into the battle.
He's desperately having to use his Mutalisks to fight, which is never what you want as a Zerg player against Terran. The Widowmine, though, hits an Overseer, not too useful, and the attack is repelled for now, but Innovation has not only a huge army supply, but he's also ahead in the Harvesters with a third base. So many mules to be dropped, as you guys just saw there at the last second. The only thing that Yongju really has going for him is that unscouted fourth base, but as soon as Innovation gets a whiff of it, he can kill it instantly.
Supply block here as well for the Zerg player, who has now the drop ability for the Overlords, but you know what he doesn't have is the Overlord speed. I'm wondering a little bit if he just misclicked here, if he wanted to go for the Overlord speed and accidentally hit the drop ability.
Yeah,
because
I think that's pretty possible.
I don't see a reason for it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's going for Roach drops or even Baneling drops right now.
At first I really thought it was a cute idea and it was something that we haven't seen in quite some time, but it looks more and more that it was just a simple mistake.
Yeah, just he wanted to get the speed for spotting Widowmines and helping his Overseers out. The way he's playing with the Overseers, I think you're exactly right.
And that's a major mistake since the upgrade is actually quite expensive.
Yeah, and not only is it useless now, but he doesn't have the upgrade he wants, which is actually useful against the Widowmines.
We have that fourth base on the other hand, and I like that through all this trouble he was able to establish that fourth, but Innovation has now spotted it. There come those Banelings, and the Banelings don't have speed just yet.
It's
the speed just now started, and
it's almost like
it's really easy for him to pick that off.
Yeah, it's almost like he just realized, oh, all these Lings running into a disaster here. Oh, this is just going to be terrible for him. Like I said, as soon as Innovation finds out this base, he's going to come on it like a hammer here, trying to squash it. He just has so many units, and his Widowmine count is getting out of control. Yeah, Widowmines had a slight nerf, slight change to their radius, but they're still very, very strong, especially in choke points on that ramp.
Yeah, the Video Mines are still useful, but they're not as ridiculous as they were before. The +2/+2 upgrade for innovation nearly done. Yongju is really putting up a fight here. He's still behind in overall supply, and especially in army supply. Not really something that you want. The number of banelings that he has is getting pretty ridiculous, though. 27, trying to move in there, but yeah, there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, he delays a command center slightly. That's about all he gets.
Bunker has to be repaired, though.
There are 4 banelings in that slow Overlord. That looks really, that looks really like it's not very scary. Oh my god, will Little Mine kill the Overlord? I think it might. I think it might actually kill it.
Not quite. It needs
7 hit points!
It's a little bit more than that, yeah.
All those banelings so close to being finished with their speed, but they don't quite have it yet.
That's the most ridiculous Overlord drop that I've ever seen, and it could actually do a lot of damage.
It could, and Samila is doing some damage over here. He's down, but he's not out right now. Youngju, though, walking into a disaster, does not want to fight with his Zerglings like this. He's giving away units for free.
God, they lost so much. The slowest Overlord drop in the history of StarCraft 2 entered the main base, though, and he's with 8 hit points still going for the main mineral line.
Yeah, a lot of run-bys going on as well during this time, but he's not getting a whole lot done. Here comes a huge speed baneling attack. He's going to lose his 3rd base. Meanwhile, though, it looks like it is gone. And here we go. No
do you even split?
No.
He doesn't, and he loses a lot. But here comes
the banelings. And they have speed.
They
questionable angle, though. Yeah.
They don't do anything. But we have that attack at the 3rd base. Innovation cleaned out the 4th of his opponent, but still the Mutalisks roaming the map here, doing damage.
Losing a lot of them, though. Definitely losing so many of those Mulas, not cost efficiently. And here we go, actually trading against the army decently well. Yeah. But it's just that his army is so small, he lost that production. And here come the Widow Mine shots.
Talking about the army, 50 army supply against 105. That's Innovation just suddenly doubling the army supply of his opponent. And a quick GG comes out. Youngju with a solid performance here, doing decently, but Innovation, I mean, there's a reason why he's the king of Terran versus Zerg.
To be honest, he made a better showing than I thought he would. Really putting the pressure on with those Zerglings early on, I like that. Not taking a straightforward approach to the game, but rather taking his own style into account. Maybe he meant to research both upgrades early on and do some more with the Banelings, but definitely didn't want to have drop first, and I don't know, man. That one, I'm just trying to find answers for him.
That drop was awesome. I love it. That was the best Overlord that I've seen in a long time.
That was the Overlord from the Cheer for earlier, I'm sure.
No, man.
This game was well thought out, you can tell by Youngju, but Innovation just does not care about any Zerg opponent that he faces. He's got no issues here.
That Overlord was just basically hiding in plain sight. I mean, you see the Overlord moving towards your main base and you're like, yeah, that's not going to do anything. You know, the Overlord with speed suddenly rushes into your main, you're like, oh my god, there could be a drop. But if it's this slow, you would never expect something like this to happen.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. This is the situation that we expected to happen. Yeah. And I think that there's no doubt in my mind, and no doubt in your mind, I think at least based on what we talked about earlier, and we've talked about since the beginning of the day today, if the ace match happens, we're going to have an epic showdown of Deer versus Innovation.
You know, the thing is, Deer versus Innovation is the obvious match to happen, and that's the reason why I think we probably won't see it.
We could see, like, you know, the Soul Coach has from time to time thrown Hiva out there last, but I just don't think it's what you want to do.
No. There is no way Hiva is being sent out here. If you have Innovation on the opposing team, you do not send out a Zerg. And I think that Soul will definitely send out Deer. I just think that we might... I mean, the obvious choice would be Innovation for Aximesa, but I think it might be someone else. We could see...
like Alicia, maybe? Like a Protoss versus Protoss, but he, after what happened with that... I mean, the thing is, when Alicia plays Protoss versus Protoss, he tried to do an Oracle proxy, which tells me he's not feeling very good about PvP right now.
I mean, he kind of has to be Innovation versus Deer, but it's just too good to be true.
No, man, I mean, it's just, it's so good and it's going to be true.
I could live with that.
It's just, it's going to be as awesome as it can be. No matter who it's going to be, get on Twitter, spread the word, tell everybody that this is happening, tell them to go to GOMTV.net, go to Twitch, wherever you want to watch, and get in this.
The match is going to be revealed in a second, so we are going into the 7th game, we're going into the ace match, and Innovation so far has performed exactly as expected. If he can do it against Protoss now as well, he has to prove it against one of the best, against Deer. And Deer kind of crushed Ryang earlier, so who else could you send out if you are Aximesa? MMA maybe? I don't know, but like...
Even if he has like a snipe build prepared maybe, and he's like hiding and nobody expects him.
Do you want to play a PvP? I don't really think so. Like in terms of Terran, the best player that you have on the bench is still Innovation, so it kind of has to be him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that our wish will be granted, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I don't see anything else. It could be something crazy. We could see, you know, Sanai versus Ryung,
No, I'm going to stop you right there.
But basically, I feel like the same likelihood of that is of anybody else besides these two players coming. I feel very strongly about this.
And, you know, this is actually the situation where finally Seoul could win it, and where Seoul could actually take a win over Axiom Acer.
Over Axiom Acer. Yeah. Of all teams, the team at the top, the team at the very, very top versus the team at the bottom wins. That's a story. And this team, like I said, I feel like it's really coming to its own. Axiom Acer came into this season looking like really, really strong from the previous season. Everybody's saying, oh, they're pretty good here. They might be the favorites to win it all. But Seoul had to build things up this season, and we're coming to a close on that.
Here we go. Who's it going to be? Will we have the match that we all want? It's the obvious match to happen, and it's going to be Chair versus Chair. I can't believe it.
Well, Innovation. And who is it? I can't see. Oh, it's Trap. It's going to be Trap.
All right, Trap coming out.
What? I mean,
Trap has a pretty cool Protoss versus Terran, and you know that Innovation is coming out. So not really, I still expected Dia. I was thinking about it actually, if they might put out Trap instead, but I was still expecting Dia here.
Yeah, same here. I'm really shocked by this, in fact. But as it is, it makes it even more exciting because what is he going to do against Innovation? Innovation has a style in Terran vs. Protoss, generally speaking, where he just says, I'm better than you, I have more stuff than you, faster than you, I'm accurate faster than you, I'm playing my SVs, and I'm going to kill you. He plays that style.
You know, Trap is, I mean, the best matchup that Trap has is the matchup against Terran. So he's also a very good choice. And if you look at the lineup of Seoul, you have these two Protoss players that are just doing so well. And just recently, Trap is on such a roll against Terran. He 2-0'd MMA, he won against Jakji with a 3-1 in the Premier League, took out SC, took out Bomber, was successful against Reality, Keen, Fantasy. Again, Innovation is a very different beast on the other hand, and they were talking about this. They were definitely just sitting down, and the coach was talking to Trap and was talking to Dia, and there must be a reason why Dia was saying, you know what, I actually don't feel it right now, Trap take over and you kill him. Yep. This match is so important for him. They're not taking any chances here. If they would think that Dia is the better player to take down Innovation, they will go for it, but they feel Trap is the better choice here, and I can respect that.
It looks like Crank does not respect that. He's like, what, are they serious? This is pretty cool, man, because like you said, this is the best matchup for Trap, and it's on the best map of all time. It's on Frost, the 4-player map where anything goes. I feel like if Innovation just tries to run in brute force, he might run into a wall with Trap. Trap is a very good all-around player. I feel like he and SOS, when it comes to this matchup, they are like the wall that the Terran player is not going to break with the timing. They're going to get that storm of the 3-3. They're not going to be aggressive early on like we saw with Deer with just a few stalkers on the Mothership Core. They're going to sit back and take whatever the Terran has to offer and turn it against the Terran.
I mean, for Trap, this is definitely one of those things where everything... I mean, you have to deal with the pressure of all things. That's what I feel is going to be a pretty big point here in this game. Innovation is the favorite here. He's just such a great player, but it is a best of one. And for Trap, there must be so much pressure, since for them it's more important to win the team match than for Axiom Acer. Of course, Axiom Acer doesn't want to lose a team match. I mean, that's not what I'm saying here, but like, they are in such a comfortable position right now. And for Seoul, everything's on the line.
Yeah, everything is on the line here. And Innovation has been sitting back in his chair this whole time. He won Terran vs. Zerg. Everyone expected him to, but he's looked confident. He's looked quiet. And I think he was expecting to face a Protoss player here in the Ace match. Maybe not necessarily Trap, but still, same matchup, same game, same map.
Yeah, you definitely know that Seoul is sending out a Protoss player. If it's not Dia, then it's Trap. I do not think that there's a chance that they would have chosen Hyber, for example, since Innovation just dominates this matchup so much. You never want to do that. That is just way too risky.
And you know, both of these players know each other because they are former teammates, and that makes this all the more exciting. And that's why I said before at the very beginning of this, there's always that level of tension, not because these two are, you know, they dislike each other, but it's the exact opposite. They like and respect each other. They've trained together for a really long time, and so weird things can happen because they might want to psych each other out, or they might just say, you know what, you know how I'm going to play, but can you stop me? I'm going to go for it anyways. Well, this is epic. It doesn't get much more exciting than this. Ace match, two former teammates, two of the best players in the world in their matchups. Frost is the map, my favorite map of all time. Oh, this is, I'm stoked, man.
I thought it was Crossfire.
No. No! No! I already forgot that map existed. Why do you bring this back to my memory?
The map that shall not be named.
Yeah, just
I just ruined your stride.
no, I'm feeling okay because this match is so hyped I can forget about everything else.
All right, who is gonna get into the crossfire here? Will it be Innovation? Will it be Trap? The last match of the day, the ace match here at the GSTL Season 2 2013 Round 2 between Axiom Acer and Soul, brought to you by Colin Wolf.